Morning land of YouTube. And if you're on YouTube and you're watching it, can you picture yourself in an inflated round item going down a river? Like you're going down a river of thought with a inflatable device. Inflatable. You're enslaved. That would be like trying to say enslaved if enslaved. I don't know. I can't do it like Tyson would. Whatever. Pretty fucking stupid. Tubing. You tubing into a video stream of consciousness from my consciousness to yours. Some of these titles and labels in lives we can't shake off, and then we don't even accurately look at it. We just go, oh, it's just a name, right? Some people get their name, their birth name, and they're clung to it for the rest of their life. They don't think, I can reinvent myself, or I am inventing myself the whole time, I just didn't know it. And some family pressure would put one into a stigmatic, I have to have this name. My name is so proud. And I get it, there's a level of pride we take in ourselves first. I just like reinventing myself. So this current stage and chapter of my life is Donnie Cosmic Era. For a while I went by like a pseudonym of Donnie Star. I still do. But Donnie Cosmic is the newer, upgraded version of me. And I like that. That's super cool. I receive all kinds of cool compliments and, nicknames. Yesterday in a conversation, for instance, someone that may be very special coming up, or a very important character in my life, because I see that, it doesn't mean it's going to be exactly that. We'll find out after a little bit of time. But when I get eye contact with people, it's a funny response. What I hear back. Either I hear back what somebody's mirroring, or they're very, very in touch with themselves already in the universe, and I hear something really important. Like, the funniest one, not funny, I guess, very importantly cool. I was called a genie. And I was like, well, I do have my rings. Yeah, I think I got a little bit more of a severe, intense allergy thing going on because of the weather change. It could be a cold too. I mean, shit, that still happens. But yeah, the way she felt was that the only thing that could pop into her head was genie. Like she felt like I was a genie. And I think some fun stuff around that with the current state of my consciousness and, I guess whatever I put my mind to, I watch happen without a lot of direct effort. Now I can put myself into a direct effort position as well. I'm no longer doing that. I'm pretty much free to roam. So I'm focusing on my health, my mental health, my spiritual health, my physical self. And I feel free. I feel like I'm one with, for shits and giggles, I feel like I'm one with the air around me, with how present I currently am as presence. The way the air feels on my skin, the little bird that just flew off to the right in my peripheral. I really don't care about the traffic so much, but it's part of it in the background. You know, if I don't focus on that, then that goes away. So it's kind of all of it that really encompasses what it is to be present. And so there's a cat out in the field. You know, I'm very hyper observant of the little tiny details like this down here. And I'm thinking, is that a gopher? What was down in there? Are those little gopher holes or something? Rats, maybe? Could be rats, could be field mice, and that's what he's out there in the field. Kitty cat out there. Trying to get some dinner because he's been out all night. So, as I come to a conclusion of pointing something out, an ultimate sense of presence, or being presence, physically embodying what it is to be presence, is something attainable. Some individuals get there by meditation. Some get there by uniting with their, childlike awe in their brain. There's a lot of different methods spiritually to exist in life and walk through this happening that we consider life a much more at peace spiritual person or individual. We can do that together. There are plenty of ways. And then I wonder how many people really want that kind of a peaceful existence, because I don't see a large, vast amount of numbers. Like, I don't see hordes of people lining up to come into like the spiritual center, for instance. I see the masses going different angles and shit. Half the people that, I'd say 50% of the people that even say they're Christian probably don't even go to church. So it's like, how fake can we be? You say you're something and then you don't stand by it. That's pretty fucking fake, I think. I'd say if you identify with something, better whole-ass it, not half-ass it. I know what I identify with. I know every step of the way that I have taken to bring me here. I know that it is a lot to try to describe in a fucking video. And I know that my mindset may be very difficult for anybody else to interpret, especially at a first glance. Some people would hear me ramble and not make any goddamn sense because, well, it doesn't line up with their viewpoints or they don't agree with it. Honestly, that's the point, is they just don't agree. Now, if they have some kind of misery or pity inside and they think, oh, well, this must be some kind of negative instance that they want to frame, that's really them looking at themselves in a negative way, whoever it is. Honestly, because everybody runs around projecting outward like in a mirror complex within their mind. And it's really the truth. Not a lot of individuals look at themselves first in every instance and become so in touch with themselves that we walk around not looking outward. I do for a different reason. I look outward to stay present because I'm already in that presence. I walk through this life in the path of a teacher or a guide. I send messages and have funny things that are right coinciding with angel numbers. And, like a spirit guide or like a shaman. With part of the path I went through, there's a shamanistic approach. At one point I was considering becoming a shaman. And so there's a lot of things that make my chemical makeup up. The whole thing is, like, I unintentionally have some videos and messages and stuff I send to people, and then I look and it's at like 111. Exactly. I didn't plan that. It just happened. And then, there's, like right when I send something to someone, it was exactly at 111. So instead of reading and interpreting the angel message or the divine guidance through numerology and mathematical equations actually equaling out to be what existence is, I'm actually in it as the messenger. And I think that's really super fucking cool. You know, I have a lot of joy in the amount of presence I currently occupy. In which case it's here, it's the space around me. I would say that my intention and my direction is on par with having a smooth pond around me. Now, the pond's smooth because everything was normal, right? Everybody's in their normal routine. Everybody's got their head in the sand, so to speak. They don't go to church, or they do, whatever, right? It's all normal. And then that pond is nice and smooth. And then I show up and I throw a boulder into it. And there's a ripple. And it feels like a tidal wave. That's my energy that I carry right around me at all times. And it's very close to that, on par with, I vibrate at such a high frequency that I kind of fuck shit up some, in a good way. Like, I don't do it for any destructive purposes or disruptive. Not intentionally disruptive. I'm doing it because I have a love for humanity, to see everybody change and grow in a better, positive way towards humankind. And that is a united global elite force for good that I am a part of. As in, that's my model, that's my mindset, that's who I am. So I'm a part of me. I know there's others. I've met some. I know that I'm kind of a rare, unique individual in a way that, there's not going to be another one of me, period. Others may keep their mouth shut completely because they were told to. And then you think about this. If for shits and giggles, you tell your kid to go play, but don't do this, they're going to fucking do whatever you said not to do, right? So you use reverse psychology. So if I had some direction from a group that I'm part of, and the direction was, I mean, for shits and giggles, just like this was in a conversation a couple years back. Don't you think if you were part of a secret society, you would want to keep it a secret? Okay. I was like, well, yes and no. I would want to share information with everybody around me because I want everybody to grow with me. Wow, what a fucking concept. I'm not really, but am I undervaluing the information I receive when I want to give it to everybody else? Although, not everybody's hearing anything. You know, certain people are going to hear what the fuck they want to hear. Some people watch all the way through to the end of the video. Some people don't. Some people watch 3 seconds and go, this guy again. Good. I don't think you deserve to hear shit. Honestly, it's the person that's willing and committed to hearing something good or beneficial for their own life that is looking for that, and they're the ones that are going to receive something good. Period. Like, it's rigged. It's all inside of you, right out the gate. Either you have it or you don't. Done. That's life. There's a fucking maze out here, people. There's a little cheese wheel at the end. Some people get in the cheese wheel, and they can see the cheese, but they just can't get to it. And they run, and they run, and they run. And they got this fucking prize, and they think they're gonna get there. And they never make it. So I no longer believe that. I believe something different. I believe that living starts with, truly accepting something first before we get to live. And then we just appropriate things. We adjust and we put the priorities in place. What's the most important thing? For me, it's my mental health, my spiritual health, my physical health, my social health, my level of commitment to this YouTube channel is my health for growth. A lot of other cool things along the lines of that, because I am an artist. I have been one at heart my whole life. Ever since I was little, my grandmother used to call me Little Jim Carrey, because he was like a role model for me. I mimicked the shit out of him. And I used to get in the car when I was little with Grandma for personal reasons. I will tell you this, so anybody watching actually gets to know me. I used to be able to change the words immediately to any song that came on. That's how fast my mind worked when I was little. Okay? And then I had a bad role model. Part of the things I took and chose from that bad role model were actually corruptive to me and society. I had to go through a phase of learning how not to be corruptive and harmful. Although I didn't take any of the really physical, dangerous, angry things from my father, so to speak, my role model. I took never get angry from him because angry hurt, and I never wanted to see anybody hurt. So a long period of my life, I did my best to deal with anger in a different way that most people don't. And a lot of people see that as weakness, you know? It's not weakness, people. It's one of the better strengths anybody could have. Also, the best fight anybody ever won was the one they ran away from. Because guess what? No harm was done. We survived. That's a fucking survival. I mean, the idiocracy that goes into eye contact with some males and then, oh yeah, it's on, just gotta have a fight. How dumb are you? Like, do you need to hurt yourself or possibly kill somebody in order to feel good about yourself? It's just, to me, that's dumb. That's not anything but dumb. It's not fucking proving shit. It's just proving you're dumb and you're willing to hurt yourself and others. So maybe I'm like the forefront of evolution when it comes to what it is to be real. One of the forefront of evolution to be real. I let everything out with everybody. I don't hide shit. I am very open. I do guard certain information that I can't really share. I mean, for reasons that I guess everybody's not ready to hear what I have to say. Not all of it, you know? Not everybody, anyways. There's certain individuals that are deeper, and I'm finding deeper and deeper every day I go. Out on a walk, into the store, you know, into different settings with different individuals. I actually physically find deeper, meaningful conversations with different individuals. And with that in mind, I can reveal more information. I have a lot of information in my head. It's because of every single ounce of information that I studied is readily available in my fucking head, along with all of my experience growing up. From the time I was, I remember being a little tiny guy, probably 3 years old, you know, some of my earlier memories. And I remember some stuff. I don't remember like all of it in vivid detail, but I do remember some highlights that stood out, you know, and there was certain things when I was very little that were very, very earthy, grounding experiences with nature around me, because I was out in nature because my father was kind of a hippie, you know, he smoked weed and he had me out in places because he didn't like being around people. He was more of a, that kind of hippie mentality. And then, you know, as he stayed in a hippie mind space, damn, moist, yeah. As he stayed there in a hippie mind space, you know, it slowly like rotted his brain some, and he went cuckoo in a way that he harmed everybody around him and himself dramatically. And that could form really negative impressions from people around. He did it to like control and enslave people near him. He did it as a planned measure to keep people around, to use them and abuse them in a way that, let's say a slaver would own slaves. I never liked that, ever. I would not do that. Not him. I'm me. There was a lot of other fucked up shit that happened, but who doesn't have a fucked up past or some kind of trauma in their past? Everybody's got a different struggle or a different battle, period. I can vent mine. It helps to vent. I actually have a therapy appointment coming up at 8. I get to talk more on this topic probably. I mean, we're going to go into some shit and talk about it. Boom. I heal. And then, later on I got another appointment. And then Thursday I meet with my psychiatrist. So I've got all kinds of, even someone with a psychiatrist needs a psychiatrist, period. Because it's improvement, it's different perspectives that really is needed. I need the different perspective. I crave it more than anything. I crave feedback. So I'm actively in a lot of social structures and social environments. Listening. I talk a lot. I also listen. There's got to be a give and take. And when I'm hearing someone talk, I fucking listen. I take to heart everything I hear and I apply it in a respectful shape of who this individual is and what productivity can come out of my mouth towards them if they ask for it or need it. And that is the God's honest truth. I hear people when they talk to me. I don't just dismiss it and go, yeah, let's move on with my agenda. No, fuck that. If anything, I'm like, every single instance, let's move on with your agenda and see how I fit into that. Cool. Then we're open to interpretation. Now, is our path going to be together constantly? I don't know. I mean, I could say I don't really know, but I could see futures. I get an uncanny privilege of seeing timelines that are real and tangible, like a vision of the whole entire thing playing out in one instance. That's also part of why I'm so creative with art, and I'm also very creative with screenplays in my head, movies, and reality TV shows, a few of them so far. And I'm constantly taking notes because it's a real big part of who I am in the future that I see. It's my vision to see my visions come to the big screen. I know that I don't have any experience in that industry. I also know how I'm going to find and gain experience in that industry. And that's okay, because everybody's got to start somewhere, right? If it wasn't a little bit of a fun puzzle, would it be fun or a puzzle? Life is kind of like that. I always looked at life like a fucking puzzle. And along the way, I find pieces. The pieces make up a part of the bigger picture. So I pay attention. I'm looking for pieces of the puzzle every fucking where. I was on a walk with a friend. Physically, he looks down and he's checking out a piece of a puzzle. And he's like, I wonder if it's a Pokemon. And I had already reflected on the color and the way the piece of the puzzle looked. And I said, yeah, it looks like it might be part of Squirtle's belly. Very cool, right? Now, if I am very honest, a part of me still hurts because of the amount of abstinence I have from my children currently. And at the same point in time, I know it's really good for growth. I know that there's going to be some work to be done with my children later on. And I do know that, experience can be scarring sometimes. At least they're in a loving environment currently. And I'm not having the added responsibility of my two children currently going through, let's say, the mind space that I have. I am finding so much more every day to be able to balance out. And if balance is real, I'm just balancing out, let's say, discernment. What conversations, where, why, how, and it's like, how much information do I really need to give to each individual I run into? They almost call out for it. The last very important person to talk to yesterday, I'm going to keep it anonymous because I'm not sure how this person would feel being in a video, really craves knowledge. Is kind of attracted to it and wants more. So there it is, like, here's some knowledge. And then how much are you willing to accept right now? I would give as much as I can in a basic idea of pushing an envelope until it almost tears. Or in her case, pushing it till it tears because she's capable of a tear. Now, a tear would look like something that's kind of unacceptable to her, but she's heard so much real up until then. And then at that point, we surpass the realm of what's real and not. So, I'm not really blurring lines between real and fantasy, unless it's related to my art projects. And then I got fiction-based enterprise with fact mixed in. So that's really blurring the lines between reality and fiction for art purposes. Like, I can go crazy with my imagination and create some very cool stuff. I always have been able to do that. Now, that's also responsible for creating our current life, because the tools and the acceptance comes from knowing that our subconscious brains project everything into this reality. Now, if one's unable to accept that fact, move on. It's not for you. If you can't accept that your subconscious brain is projecting everything out here, and collectively memory imprint of time and labor and effort and all that mental imagery goes into the shape of the society we live in, that's our collective unconscious. Now, the subconscious mind is technically an inaccessible thing for most people. So, no one really knows how to make their life work. They try and they struggle and they just deal with whatever they're handed, right? The cards they're dealt. There are tools and methods to gain access to that, and I can tell you directly like that. If you're watching this video into the 30-minute mark almost, you deserve to hear that if you have not been experiencing manifestation. There are direct tools that you can look for and find and apply to yourself with discipline that will lead you to having more of an active control over your subconscious mind. There's a real powerful power within that. And then there's other things that line up with the things I talk about that actually kind of complete the whole thing. And you get to walk around and you're free to do what you want. And I say want, but I'm saying that for you guys. I don't really want to do anything. I just do it. There's really cool, powerful tools that I've picked up along the way that make a lot of sense with psyche, subconscious, active mind. So it's kind of like being a master of the mind. And there's even Mastermind, the TV fucking movie. So, and there's also a very big practice of mastering emotions, because if you're not in control of yourself, then you're out of control. Then you can go around harming everybody. Everybody's like that anyway. They don't want to fucking look at any of their faults. They don't want to admit their fears. They run away from them, they hide, and then they do harm to either themselves or others, period. That's 90 fucking, I would wager something like 93% of humanity is actively like that in some form or the other. 7% more aware of their emotions. And then within that 7%, there's the people that are, now 1% of the world's population is 78 million. So 7% is a large number of people, right? But it's not like anything creeping on the 7.8 billion. You know? It's really, it doesn't touch or hold a candle to the big population. It's here, there's people, and like they're aware of not doing harm to others, but then It's a rarity to actually have a complete picture. It is very rare to really be completely well-rounded and balanced with an alignment for humanity's growth and humankind. With love as a message. Love is the background message. A long time ago, I had an idea for a church without church. And I was even going to call it something like 5-star church without church. Because we go around practicing love. And now, if that ain't a fun message that I spread right now, and anybody that follows along with me, they would be my disciples. Isn't that a fucking fun thing? Like, just to correlate shit. Like, anybody I actually get to is going to be hearing my message so strongly because they're trying to better themselves first. And then as they transform into a better version of themselves, they align with their true selves. And then their true selves realizes that, I mean pluralized, literally, more than one. They realize that the good of humanity is at stake because they love themselves. And they realize other humans are just like them. And then it's deeper than that. It goes into some deep doo-doo. We run around knowing we're having conversations with ourselves in a different form. Wow, that's pretty fucking deep. Maybe that's the secret of happiness, people. Joe Rogan even talks about that openly on a podcast. If you haven't heard him, I'm not the only one that talks like this. Other people do. I didn't just do a bunch of psychedelics to get here. No. I already had a lot of crazy shit happening way prior. A lot of massive synchronous, a lot of massive awareness, a lot of massive manifestation way prior to ever experiencing any kind of psychedelic. There was the psychedelic aspect and venture a couple years back that did align me with a different kind of spiritual realm of existence. And that's real. I mean, there is a spiritual realm. There's a physical realm. There's an ethereal realm. There's a projected realm. And it's all these things that are super, super powerful stuff that, you know, it takes a long time to practice and learn. You can't just hear all of this and go, oh yeah, I'm going to nail it. Nope. I mean, maybe one person might. Maybe the right person hearing all the right messages at the right time may actually benefit from everything I have to say. Otherwise, it's going in one ear and out the other, mostly. Like, and then there's a certain level of information that gets transferred and a certain level of knowledge. I'm not going to do any fucking open neurolinguistics with anybody on these videos. I could, and I believe it would probably get my fucking channel shut the fuck down, because that's like a taboo no-no. I shouldn't brainwash society into something, or whoever is near me, for that fact, unless they ask for it or deserve it, you know. If somebody's super harmful and they're out doing a bunch of harm, I don't see them as a good character for humanity's growth. I see them as somebody that needs to be stopped. And it's my role to, if I have an influence in their life, to influence them in a better, healthier decision. And I do that by my action. And so they can model after me, for one. But then neurolinguistics for that person may be very, very highly necessary. Then I just get in their face and they don't know what happened. And then they just start making better decisions. Then they no longer want to harm people, starting with themselves. I've witnessed that with several people currently. I have seen progress. I have been a part of it. And I feel very proud to fucking acknowledge that with myself. I have changed a few people that have really been hell-bent on doing so much self-harm that they've just been harming people outwardly their whole life. Now, I have one very, very stubborn individual that is probably going to be set in his ways until he dies. This individual also, fucking for shits and giggles, didn't talk to his father for like something close to 20 years. Or I think that was the, you know, he didn't see eye to eye with his father. So it's a very stubborn, committed individual. And I would hate for that guy to wake up at the end and go, oh, now I see everything. I would love for him just to, because of his level of commitment to what he's got going on, I would love for him to see it before he gets to the end. I don't know if that's going to be possible with this stubborn character. I mean, it's like I have to perform literal character assassination with him prior to him ever being able to see anything. Do I need to waste my time with that? Is it a waste? I don't know. Maybe I just leave him right where he's at. And I don't talk to him like his father. You know, he didn't talk to his father. So maybe I do the same thing, because it's really actually earned behavior that you earn. Karmatic debt builds up. Now, if you're out doing a bunch of harm, it really, I know you're the one that's hurting the most, so you deserve love too. But it also factors in, it adds to like the more suffering approach. So the more harm you do, the more you suffer, kind of. Now, if it's harm in a good way, but you're doing harm for kind of like ill motives, ill intention to enslave someone or a population, oh boy, that's where you fucked up. So you're probably going to be the one that's locked inside the longest. On accident, creating your own walls and your own barriers without even fucking knowing it. Isn't that some bullshit? Like, run around thinking you're doing good, thinking you're so convicted and high and mighty, and then you just end up in a fucking shit mess your whole existence in your head because you don't see the big picture. And you never will. Not until the end. And right when you do see the end, at the end, it's like, oh goddamn, why was I so stupid? Now I know. You go back to knowing everything just like when you were a baby. There's a real truth to that, people. So be careful. I don't consider myself high and mighty. I'm just venting. I consider myself one of the most humblest persons around because of how humble I've been. How willing to sacrifice my fucking self to help somebody learn and become a better person, possibly. There's a possibility they will become a better person. I've put myself in harm's way repeatedly. I have been drugged 4 to 5 times. You know, I have been raped. I have, physically and mentally, I have been raped my whole life. In a one way or the other. And it was because of naivety. Me being naive led me into putting myself in positions and trusting people, whereas there should have never been trust. But I still openly fucking trusted everybody around me. And I still do that. Now I have a different kind of read. Like, I can see their true intentions, and I can really read people like a psychic medium. There's a good, easy way to put it to set people at ease. Like, I'm a psychic medium, blah, blah, blah. So much more than that. That's just a at ease mentality, right? They don't calm people down here. But the willingness for me to go to any lengths to actually try and benefit humanity around me, because I love myself more and I didn't want to see anybody harming anybody else. And then I finally aligned with myself, like completely. Found my voice, found my power, found that I can use all of that quote unquote anger that I had in reserve as a motivating passion to drive myself forward with success in life, in every area, in every arena, with every relationship on the table. That's who I am now. Not a lot of, I keep pointing it out because I look around and I just see so many different levels of suffering around me. And then I'm wondering how many people create their fucking purgatory, quote unquote, hell right here on earth without knowing it. I mean, if we even look at the biblical history, I'm not going to go into that right now. It's just, to me, it's sad. A lot of sadness around. I'm not sad. I don't focus on it. When I do get touched on it, like focused a little bit, I can observe it. I gotta let it go. I can't affect everybody. And then I really get to a point of I'm normally focused on very bright, positive things, and that's all I find is positive, beneficial instances. That's mostly all I go into, unless it's an older relationship that's clearly I know what I'm walking into. So I'm doing good work, as in helping that relationship become better for their growth, and so they stop harming people around them. Ultimately, it's harm reduction at its finest. Like, people can stop harming people, including themselves first, if they have enough knowledge and their eyes open enough. So all I do is I walk around pumping knowledge into people, and guess what happens? People change or they don't. It's like their stage of evolution. They're presented with knowledge, not a choice or a question or a force, just knowledge crammed right in their head. And then either their minds are opened or they're at their level. They're leveled, like plateaued, never going any further. But that's not to say I didn't plant a seed that's going to manifest itself in 8 to 10 years. Who knows? You know, there's a very chaotic manner of information that comes out of me. I say it exactly like I mean it, because I coined the term spiderwebby string chaos theory, and I could just say strayos theory, making it one word. Strayos. That's good. It's like Strauss, but different. I like that creamery. Strayos theory. So it's a applied measure of, you know, interconnectivity with everything. Also, the chaos of, you know, things being kind of randomized. So I include randomocracy in my shit that I make up, like normally breakfast items. Randomocracy depicts what I'm going to be eating for breakfast, because I've removed myself from the equation to experience something new, something from someone else's perspective. Also in that study, I'm seeing how quick these other individuals are as to being able to listen. So I'm bringing them present by just pointing out a question, and then they're so stuck in their routine, some of them, they'll get 3 questions in before they actually catch on. The other ones don't. Like the gentleman yesterday, for instance, he was fucking pretty quick. And it was also how I presented it. So I'm learning how to present it in a little bit better manner. But I did get asked a question, and he said, do you have any dietary restrictions or health concerns? Like he literally was so in touch with himself that he cared about himself enough to ask me that. Clearly, it wasn't just training. He was concerned. If it was training, I would have had that from the other fucking person there. Or that person wasn't trained well, right? I don't think that goes into training. Not when you're just serving stuff. You ask somebody what they want, right? They go, oh, I need this. They already know their concerns. This guy cared about himself enough to ask me that. I'm observant. I make up words. I don't give a fuck. Present, observant. That's what observant is. It's being present in the observation. Presence. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, I will tidy up the video at 45 minutes because I got to do a food one. I'm going to be going into this newer breakfast eatery location down here on Sebastopol Road in the work-live units. Looks very, very yummy. And I'm going to be making a video walking in there. If they have good news for me, I will be able to continue the video, not stop it midway, and then check back in. So, I love you all. Be good. If you've listened this whole time to 45 minutes, please leave a comment. And if you got to pick my brain or you don't agree with something, leave a comment. Let's converse, people, please. It's very important for me to engage with my audience. Not for any other reason other than engagement. That's all I care about. I don't have, maybe down the road I have this as an income. Not right now. And even when it's an income down the road, I still will crave engagement with my audience because I crave that. It's perspective I love. I love to hear your perspective. And I don't know what it is until you open up your mouth and speak, even if it's through your thumbs. So, thumbs up, baby. Please, let's get this going. And let's join together as one. I love you all. Peace.